All right, kia ora everyone. It's Nathan Rose here in beautiful Auckland, New Zealand. All right, I did something really cool in Copilot Studio today with an autonomous agent, and I can't wait to share it with you. It's going to be a bit of a sneak peek for some of the stuff I'm going to talk about Friday at the Global Power Platform Bootcamp, but let's get into it. So recently, when I was working with a client, they had a requirement where they're getting replies from text messages and they need to be able to filter them based on the reply. So basically, yes goes down one route and no needs to opt the person out of future communications. Now, that sounds really easy, right? Except the problem is when we are dealing with text, SMS messages, emails, that kinds of things, it's actually really hard. Even if in the outbound message we tell the recipient, reply yes for more information or no to opt out, they can still put anything they want in there. And so this is really critical to understand when this person actually intends to get more information because they're interested or when they intend to opt out, because English is a gloriously non-specific language. And the reality is, if we wanted to build this in Power Automate, we would have so many child flows or a massive switch or if condition that would pretty much break all the principles of solution architecture because it would not be maintainable, it wouldn't be modular. But agents do this really well. So let me go ahead and share my screen and let's get into it. All right. Give this a second to come through. So this is my agent that I created. And what it does is it monitors WhatsApp messages. Now I'm just using a custom entity that I'm actually kind of faking a WhatsApp reply because the WhatsApp API was just kind of went in the too hard basket to work with. But what this is going to do is it's going to monitor replies from customers to understand their intent. It's part of the call center team. It has a friendly, helpful, and concise tone. It uses its general knowledge. We'll get into this in a second. And its job is to determine whether the customer has a positive or negative intent in their response. So if they say, yeah, I'm interested, or no, thank you, or not at this time, it can interpret whether the person is interested or not. And so then I give it its detailed job description. So I've told it who it is, what it does, and it's going to parse the description. And again, this is coming from a custom activity entity that I've added in Dataverse. It's going to parse the description. It's going to determine the intent of the message. It's going to use its general knowledge. And if it determines that the WhatsApp message has a positive intent, it's going to run a Cloudflow that sends a notification in Customer Insights Journeys. However, if it has a negative intent, then it's going to update the consent preferences for that person. All right. Now, when you are using autonomous agents, make sure that you switch on Gen AI Orchestration. This is still in preview, but this is what you need to do all the cool stuff. And then down here under knowledge, I am just using general knowledge. So I haven't added any specific knowledge. If you were doing something more specific to your organization, say returns policy or something like that, you could upload that here. But all I am literally doing is just using the general knowledge of the large language model. And then I've got my actions here. These are just cloud flows that it can call. If there's a positive intent, send this in-app notification in Customer Insights Journeys. It looks like this. So that's our in-app notification. Otherwise, if it runs this one to update the consent preferences, it's going to opt us out. So at the moment, we will send, but it's going to change it to will not send if it senses negative intent. I'm triggering it when I add a row in Dataverse, and that's pretty much it. So I've configured my actions here, and we are pretty much ready to go. Now, again, one thing I'm going to call out is when you are putting agents together, the key thing to keep in your mind is language. And so all these things like descriptions, stuff we usually leave blank because we're busy, make sure you fill that out. When you are working with your actions, with your triggers, make it more specific. Let it know what this is because this helps the LLM determine what's going on. Same with your actions. So if we come over here to the actions, you want to make sure that you fill in all the descriptive fields as much as possible, because this is going to give the LLM more information to determine what needs to happen. And again, if you rename these, again, it makes it much easier for the agent to know what its job is, because you can say do this and give it a specific name. All right, we are ready to go. So I've got a Cloudflow here, and this is going to do a fake WhatsApp reply. What it does when I run it, it kicks off manually. It's going to ask me to put in a string value to represent the message, and then it's just going to go manually create an activity row against my contact record here in Customer Insights Journeys. Now, a bit of this is hard-coded because it's still proof of concept stage, but let's get into it. So let's go down the happy path. Let's say, yes, I'm interested. And go ahead and run this. This will take a couple seconds to add this row into Dataverse. There we go. And so now our agent should kick in. And what we're expecting is to see the send notification flow run. So let me do a quick refresh here. And sometimes it takes, there we go. All right, it has run. Let's come over to Insights Journeys. And we just got a new notification that there is a WhatsApp message on the timeline of this contact. And there it is. All right, so that's the happy path. So the LLM was able to take a positive response and determine the intent and send a notification without having to do a lot of extensive filtering. I didn't have to say if it's yes, and if it's yes, thank you. I just have the LLM read the text and then interpret what it's meant to do. All right, let's go down the not so happy path. Let's say that we're not interested. So let's say I am not interested at this time. Let's go ahead and run the flow. Okay, our flow has run, and let's come over here to our other flow. This is the update consent preferences. So if the agent detects a negative intent, then this is the flow it's meant to call. So let's see if it does this. And it has. It ran 15 seconds ago. So let's come over here to our communication tab and let's check our compliance settings. And look at that. It has changed the transactional preference from will send to will not send. That's pretty cool. So again, we have an agent sensing intent. Now let's set this back and let's try to give it maybe something a little more vague. So as I've said, English is a gloriously non-specific language. Let's try to give our agent a bit of a challenge here. Let's say, nah, I'm really keen, but not today, maybe next week. And let's see if we manage to confuse our agent or if it gets it right. Okay, so let's run. Now let's come and see which flow it picks to run. All right, it hasn't run the happy path. Let's go down the not happy path. All right, it looks like it interpreted that as a negative sentiment. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time training this, so I can see why it might have gotten confused. Okay, so we managed to confuse it. And again, we gave it fairly conflicting instructions. We said we're not interested, but we also are. So clear as mud, right? All right, let's try one more time. Let's see if we can give it something. Let's see if we can confuse it or if it gets it right. So let's say, yes, I'm not interested, but maybe someday. All right, let's see what it does with this. All right, so we've added our row in Dataverse, and let's see which flow it chooses to run. All right, we haven't sent a notification. All right, it looks like it went down the negative path. Let's take a look. Refresh. Okay, so it interpreted that as negative as well. But you start to get the idea for what's possible with these autonomous agents. We can start to simplify our cloud flows because all the complex filtering can be handled by the agent when we're dealing with text. So emails, WhatsApp messages, text messages, that type of thing, the agent can read that and start to determine what actually needs to happen here. It's positive, it's negative, they're interested in this product or that product, that type of thing. And so I hope you can start to see the potential that agents offer here to really simplify a lot of the automations that we are creating in the Power Platform. So that is the demo of the autonomous agent that's helping to do some complex filtering with cloud flows in the Power Platform. All right, I can't wait to share with you all on Friday at the Global Power Platform Bootcamp here in Auckland. It's going to be at Microsoft. If you haven't signed up, definitely do so. In the meantime, go do something awesome on the Power Platform today, and I'll talk to you all soon.